So let's look at back pain because that's a very common chronic pain situation. My name's Hannah Studley from the Mind Body Institute, and this is part of a series of videos where I look at different common chronic pain issues and see if they could be helped by the same thing that helped me. So I had chronic pain for over 25 years, and whenever I went to a chiropractor, an osteopath, a doctor, they would always take a medical history, which is the responsible thing to do. And because I had some serious injuries, I had three herniated discs, they would tell me that's why you have chronic pain. And also, another factor was that I have one leg slightly longer than the other. And they would say, well, that puts your pelvis slightly at an angle, which puts your lower back under stress. So, therefore, that's why you're having pain. Well, guess what? I've been pain-free for almost 10 years now, and I still have one leg longer than the other, right? My pelvis is still slightly slanted, and I don't have the agonizing, debilitating chronic pain I used to have. So what changed? Well, first of all, I stopped doing all the fixing busy work that I was doing. I was going to the chiropractor every month for all those 25 years and more if I had a flare up. I was doing a lot of expressive writing and meditation. I was working on my core strength because I thought, if my core is strong, then that would support my terrible lower back. I was doing Pilates and yoga. I became an Enneagram life coach, on and on and on. All these things trying to fix it and change it. And I kind of had an idea in the back of my head, it was kind of somewhere over here, that I would just have to cope with this pain. But one day I'd probably be in a wheelchair or flat on my back, and that would be it, which is a very heavy story to carry around. And that's how I got free. I started to see that all these stories I had in my head, like I remember one time I went to the chiropractor with absolute agony, bent forward, bent sideways, 27 years old with a walking stick. And and she said to me, "Oh no, what did you do this time?" And I said, "Well, I turned to put my seatbelt on." She goes, "Yeah, that'll do it." And I thought, think about it, I was 27 and my just turning to put the seatbelt on, really, is that going to ruin my back? How could that be? Right? But it's not true. What was actually happening, I see now, is my body was screaming at me to stop and slow down. I was so up in my head that I didn't even realize how anxious I was because I've noticed that a lot of chronic pain sufferers are also perfectionists. I don't know if that's you, but as a perfectionist, I was constantly looking at what's wrong and trying to fix it, including my own body. So when I stopped doing that, my body didn't need to scream at me anymore, and my mind got quiet, so my body got quiet. So if you're interested in this and this appeals to you, if you're tired of doing all those other techniques, my favorite is when someone said to me, I had back surgery, it worked, it really helped me. I just can't bend over anymore. I'm like, no, it didn't work, right? If you have to keep going back to those treatments and techniques and you're exhausted like I was, then there is another way. So understanding how the mind works, understanding how experience is created, that relieved me of my anxiety, which helped my brain to feel safe, which then meant that pain could melt away. So if this appeals to you, if you want to hear more, please reach out. I'd be happy to share it with you, or you can go to my website. And I really look forward to hearing from you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.